Unlocking your full potential isn't some mystical quest. It's a practical, albeit challenging journey. Most of us, however, remain stuck in a rut, shackled by ingrained fears, outdated self-perceptions, and the tyranny of habit. We wait for the mythical, perfect moment, a fantasy day when conditions are ideal to make a life-altering decision. Newsflash: that day never comes. Perfection is an illusion. Bills need paying, responsibilities beckon, doubts linger. There will always be a voice whispering, "Not now." Time, the ultimate thief, silently robs us while we hesitate. How many years have you already lost waiting for this mythical someday? The truly successful, as Napoleon Hill discovered after decades of studying high achievers, share one crucial trait: unwavering commitment. They make a decision, a pivotal, irreversible, burning the boats kind of decision that irrevocably alters their trajectory. It's terrifying, yes. The fear of failure screams, but that fear will haunt you either way. The difference? With a decision, that hazy dream starts taking shape. Reflect on your past. How many times did you start something only to abandon it due to a lack of clarity? How many opportunities slipped through your fingers because of hesitation? What would your life look like if at that critical juncture you had declared, "This is it, no turning back"? Most people fail not for lack of talent, but for lack of grit. Hill emphasized that determination transcends mere intention. It's an internal command, a self-imposed mandate you follow even when initial enthusiasm wanes. Consider Henry Ford. Before becoming an automotive titan, he faced ridicule for his audacious dream of an affordable car. They called him crazy, citing prohibitive costs and the perceived lack of public need. He could have retreated, but he didn't. He'd made his decision, and he persisted until his vision materialized. His success wasn't due to luck or unlimited resources. It was unwavering resolve. What's stopping you from making your decision? Lack of funds? A belief that the timing isn't right? A need for more self-confidence? This is a vicious cycle. It won't break itself. Hill's insight: confidence follows commitment, not the other way around. You commit first, then you find the strength, resources, and opportunities. It's like the universe aligns when you demonstrate genuine dedication. Imagine writing this today. In 6 months, my life will be different because I'm deciding now that... Fill in the blank with something specific, something you truly crave. This isn't just a mental exercise. It's a cornerstone of success, a foundation upon which you build. When challenges arise, and they will, your decision becomes your anchor. This isn't about trying to see what happens. It's about choosing your destination before embarking on the journey. Every action, every choice, every step will then be filtered through that decision. Distractions lose their power, outside opinions lose their weight, and fear loses its control. Your future begins with a "I will" and a commitment to see it through. Not partially, not until it gets tough, but to the very end. That's when genuine transformation begins. Nothing is more powerful than a determined mind. No great achievement is a straight line. The path to victory is a roller coaster of setbacks, dead ends, and moments of self-doubt. That's where most people quit. They're unprepared for the inevitable. Failure, closed doors, unfair criticism, those days when you give your all and still come up short. But there's a select few who respond differently. They don't see failure as an ending. They use it as fuel. This is resilience. Resilience isn't just persistence. It's bouncing back better, smarter, and stronger. Each fall becomes a secret training session, strengthening unseen muscles. Science backs this up. Studies at the University of Pennsylvania show that resilient individuals achieve more, experience greater happiness, and live with more fulfillment. They don't ignore pain, they leverage it for growth. Napoleon Hill knew this firsthand. During the Great Depression, he lost almost everything: money, security, even the trust of some admirers. Most would have vanished quietly, but not him. He rebounded and directly contributed to one of Franklin D. Roosevelt's most memorable speeches: "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." That phrase, which inspired an entire nation to endure, wouldn't exist without Hill's personal experience of falling and rising again. Consider your own life. How many times were you on the brink of giving up because nothing seemed to be working? How many ideas did you abandon after the first no? What if instead of stopping you had learned from each attempt? You might be years ahead. Without resilience, every obstacle becomes a wall. With it, each obstacle becomes a stepping stone. Look at Walt Disney. Before building his empire, he was fired from a newspaper for lack of imagination and saw his first studio teeter on bankruptcy. Many would have quit. But Disney used each setback as a lesson, adjusted his vision, and gradually built something beyond his wildest dreams. Being resilient doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending pain doesn't exist. It means acknowledging the pain but persisting. It's about asking, what is this trying to teach me? Instead of, why is this happening to me? It's about viewing each loss as an invisible investment in mental strength, clarity, and strategy. By refusing to give up, you discover that the very act of moving forward transforms everything. People respect you more. Opportunities emerge unexpectedly, and most importantly, you begin to believe that nothing can stop you. Not because everything becomes easy, but because you become someone incredibly difficult to knock down. Life will test you repeatedly, often at the worst possible moments. In those moments, resilience defines who continues and who quits. By keeping your head up in the storm, you realize that after every tempest, a new horizon awaits. With this mindset, no matter how many times the ground disappears, you always find a way to build a bridge. Resilience is transforming every blow into strength. And believe me, once you master this skill, no obstacle will hold you back. It all starts with the image you see when you look in the mirror. Even if it's just in your mind, not your physical appearance, but your self-perception. Because if deep down you believe you're not capable, not worthy, you'll never get there. Your efforts will align with that limited belief. It's like running with a rubber band around your waist. The further you run, the harder something invisible pulls you back. Napoleon Hill advocated that self-image is the cornerstone of all success. You can have the best strategies, contacts, and opportunities, but if you don't consider yourself worthy, you'll squander them. This happens to more people than you think. How many times have you thought, this is too good for me? Or rejected an opportunity because you felt unprepared, even though you knew you could try? History is filled with examples of people who changed their lives by changing their self-image. Oprah Winfrey, for instance, was born into extreme poverty and faced profound trauma. She could have accepted the narrative imposed by circumstances, but she chose to build a different image of herself. She applied principles similar to those taught by Hill, visualizing success, mentally affirming her worth, and aligning her actions with the person she wanted to become. Today, she's one of the most influential women in the world. Self-image acts like a thermostat. It sets the level of success, happiness, and fulfillment you consider normal. If life offers you more than programmed into that thermostat, you unconsciously sabotage yourself to return to what feels safe. The first step to reinventing yourself is reprogramming that mental image. Daily affirmations are an effective method, not emotionless repetitions, but statements filled with intent and feeling. When you say, I am capable, I am worthy, I am ready, and repeat it until you believe it, something shifts in your posture, speech, and decisions. The brain, conditioned to believe what it hears frequently, seeks evidence to confirm this new identity. This isn't just philosophy. Research from Stanford University shows that self-image directly influences performance and choices. People with strong self-images take more risks and persist longer in the face of adversity. They interpret challenges as part of growth, not as proof of inadequacy. But changing your self-image isn't instantaneous, it's ongoing work. You'll need to expose yourself to experiences that prove your capabilities. You'll need to say yes to opportunities that scare you, because in that discomfort, the new image solidifies. Gradually, the distant becomes natural. When Hill spoke of feeding the mind with positive thoughts, it wasn't about ignoring reality, but about creating such a strong internal reference point that no external opinion can destroy it. The world responds not to what you desire, but to what you believe you deserve. This determines whether you'll live limited by your old self or build the image of someone capable of achieving everything they desire. True change begins in the invisible, and when that vision shifts, the world shifts along with it. Having a defined purpose is like having a lighthouse on a dark night. It doesn't eliminate the storms, but it provides a fixed point, no matter the turbulence. Without a purpose, it's easy to get lost, to change course with every difficulty, and to waste energy on useless things. It's like running a race without knowing where the finish line is. You run, but you don't know if you're making progress. Napoleon Hill claimed that the lack of a clear purpose is one of the leading causes of failure. Early in his life as a young journalist, he received a challenge from Andrew Carnegie to interview the most successful people to discover the principles of success. This challenge became a purpose that guided Hill for over 20 years. He faced rejections, lack of resources, and uncertainties, but he didn't give up because he had clarity on what he was building and why it mattered. It's the same for all of us. By knowing exactly what you want and why, motivation doesn't depend on your mood. You wake up knowing where to direct your energy. Distractions lose their appeal. Negative opinions lose their weight because you seek fulfillment, not approval. Imagine two people with equal talent and opportunities. The first has a defined purpose, the second doesn't. When obstacles arise, the first persists, adjusts course, seeks solutions. The second, without a strong why, loses focus, tries something else, then something else, without delving deep. After a few years, the result is clear. One has built something solid, the other has accumulated unfinished beginnings. A defined purpose isn't a vague goal like, I want to be successful or I want to be happy. It's specific, measurable, and deeply personal. It's something that moves you emotionally to the point where giving up feels like a betrayal of yourself. People with a clear purpose radiate a magnetic energy. They're not just busy, they're focused. When things get tough, the purpose acts as both anchor and engine. It holds you and propels you to continue, even one step at a time. This was true for Thomas Edison during the invention of the light bulb. Thousands of failed attempts, but his purpose of illuminating the world affordably was so clear that he didn't see each failure as a defeat, but as a step toward achieving his vision. If you feel like you're always starting and stopping, it might not be a lack of effort, but a lack of direction. Defining a purpose doesn't mean predicting every detail, but establishing an internal compass that keeps you aligned. By living according to this purpose, every decision will have a criterion. Does this bring me closer to or further from what I want to build? You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. Your life stops being a sequence of random events and becomes a coherent narrative where each chapter makes sense. And when that clarity sets in, the world notices. Opportunities arise, the right people approach you, and doors open where there were once only walls. For nothing is more powerful than someone who knows where they're going and why they won't stop until they get there. There's a subtle skill that separates dreamers from life transformers: consistent discipline. Not the burst of motivation that lasts 2 days, but the ability to keep doing what needs to be done, even when no one is watching, even when it's tedious, even when the results seem distant. This is the invisible glue that keeps the other principles working. Without it, strong decisions crumble, resilience fades, self-image weakens, and purpose loses its force. Napoleon Hill observed this when studying people with lasting achievements. He noticed that what kept them in the game wasn't just vision or intelligence, but the habit of taking daily action, even in small steps. They didn't let emotions lead them. They had a commitment to their word, and that commitment didn't depend on external conditions. It was internal, non-negotiable. Think about how many times you started something with energy, only to see the enthusiasm fade days later. This isn't a lack of capacity. It's a lack of a system that works even when willpower fails. Discipline is that system. It transforms action into habit and habit into results. It's like a mason building a wall. Each brick seems insignificant, but after months, what was once empty becomes a solid structure. This applies to every area of life. Whether your goal is to change careers, save money, improve your health, or build a business, discipline will protect you on those days when enthusiasm vanishes. And those days will come. You'll wake up without motivation, question whether it's worth it, hear your mind invent excuses. That's when you need to remember. Discipline isn't about feeling like it. It's about honoring your decision, even without the feeling. But discipline isn't built grandly. It's built with small, daily victories. It's getting up 5 minutes earlier to study. It's saving a portion of your money before spending. It's going to the gym even when it's raining. It's saying no to what distracts you from your goal, even if no one knows. Hill said, "Victory begins in the mind, but is sustained by habits." You can have the clearest vision, but without discipline, it will remain just a wish. Even if your plan is imperfect, daily discipline transforms and refines it. This skill isn't about rigidity. It's about consistency. It's about choosing to be reliable to yourself on good days and especially on bad ones. By proving to yourself that you can maintain the pace, something powerful happens. Your self-confidence increases, your credibility grows, and the world treats you according to your consistency. You realize you no longer need to wait for things to change. You have become the change itself. There's a frequently overlooked element when discussing success and reinvention: the environment you place yourself in. Not just the physical location, but the people, conversations, information, and influences you allow into your life. Napoleon Hill warned that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And this is deeper than it seems. Because no matter how disciplined you are, or how clear your purpose is, if you're surrounded by negative people who belittle your ideas and see problems in everything, you'll start thinking the same way. If you want to reinvent yourself, you need to intentionally create an ecosystem that nourishes your vision. Want to level up your life? It's not just about inner work. It's about building the right environment. Think of it like this. You wouldn't try to grow orchids in the desert, would you? Surrounding yourself with negativity, draining relationships, and constant bad news is the equivalent of a desert for your aspirations. You need fertile ground to flourish. That means consciously choosing to spend your time and energy with people who lift you up, who inspire you to reach for more. Read something enriching instead of doom scrolling. Find mentors, or at least follow those who've already achieved what you want. Learn from their journeys. Your environment subtly shapes your future. If you're stuck in a rut, your perception of what's possible shrinks. But step into a world where big achievements are the norm, and suddenly, those same achievements feel within your reach. It's a shift in perspective, a change of altitude, expanding your horizons. Real, lasting change requires building the conditions for success, cultivating the right thoughts, taking action, and surrounding yourself with a supportive environment that reflects the life you crave. This isn't a one-time fix. It's an ongoing process, a continuous journey where each step you take today directly impacts tomorrow. You're here, ready to grow, so let's keep moving forward. The next video is waiting, ready to help you on your path to becoming a better version of yourself. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you there.